Here we are again at the scene of Shanda's death. The reason that I am retaking this video, or I should say taking an additional video, is because since the first one that I took, her keys have been found. And there has been some theory as to how her body got in the river based on where the keys were found. So we're going to try to give logistical and geographical information about that, and then let everybody come to their own decision. So we're just going to go ahead. I have Rusty here with me. Rusty is actually the person that called in her car as being parked on the roadway for 3 days, and he was actually here the day that the police officers came down and found her body. Here we are back at the infamous footbridge. I didn't pan up this way before, but I'm going to now. Back up here is what feeds this entire gorge area here. And I called the city of Waterloo and spoke to an official there, and he called it a lift station, and it feeds in from the Crossroads Mall Center and everything on the other side, basically of Highway 218, a field, that type of thing. It's not like it's a giant stream, you know, a creek or an actual river. It's just a runoff area. Okay, so we're going to pan back around here, and remember, again, where this bottle is sitting is basically where she was sitting. And then when Rusty found the keys, which was found a week ago this past Monday, Rusty, can you kind of point out where they were?
Right down there by that Reese's peanut butter cup wrapper in between the two rocks.
Oh, I see it. Okay, let me see if I can pull in on that. Reese's peanut butter. Oh yeah, I see it. It's right dead center in the screen right now. Yep, I got it. Okay, so it's kind of in the middle. Okay, so one could assume that she was sitting over here with all of her things. Maybe her keys are in her hand or something. And then maybe they either flew out of her hand over here and then bounced down and got into the water over here. Or maybe she was standing here and somebody threw them in, or she was standing over here and they fell in over here. So let's just go with that theory that some people have brought up, that perhaps she went in after her keys because she realized they were missing. She realized she wouldn't be able to get out of here because her car was locked. She didn't want to call me to admit failure, so she decided to go in by herself. So she goes over here, and the logical thing would be, and I'm not really sure that I can even do this. I don't think I can, because there's like a big steep drop off right there. But let's just say she walked down this area here, and then she got over here. Rusty, do you think she could have, was the water up to that edge right there?
No.
See that concrete block thing right there? Was the water flowing over the top of that or in between it?
In between.
In between it. Okay. Now, as you look at those pylon things out there, those concrete things, how was it flowing there?
The water was even with the top part of the concrete pillar.
Okay, so it was even with the top of that. Okay. Well, I wouldn't say that's any more than 3 feet. You know, I mean, we could maybe say, I don't know, we could maybe say it was 5 feet deep in here at best. But, you know, let's just go on the premise that she tried to get in here somehow. She jumped in here. Let's say she jumped in. And I'm going to get those keys. I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to jump down that embankment right there. And I'm going to get in there, and I'm going to get my keys. They're over now in the middle of the water. And she drowns. She drowns. Okay, now she's got to make it. She's got to make it down in 3 feet of water with very little current because it's coming from a lift station and not a river. And she gets down to that tree. Was the water running over that tree?
No.
Where would you say it was running, as far as, step a little closer to the camera so they can hear you?
Oh, probably about 6 foot from the top of the highest branch there.
6 foot from the top of the highest branch. Over the tree? Under the tree. Under the tree. Okay. So, you know, another option that that I have thought is maybe she went down, you know, the footpath over here, and then let's just walk down here and imagine that she couldn't make that steep embankment right there, and she thought, well, I'll go down here and I'll enter the river, not the river, excuse me, I'll enter the water down here and come back up the inlet. Ridiculous idea, but you know, we have to look into all possibilities, all scenarios. And when I had made this video before, and I got all the way down here, and then I shone back up here, and then I went back here, oh, I see now. I was thinking that she could have possibly went left here, instead of going to the right over there and crossing that tree. I thought maybe she could have went in here, but it doesn't really look very likely that she would have went in here. Not with all this brush and everything. I mean, I don't know. And there's the fallen tree that we looked at before. There's the pylon, you can see. To me, it would be impossible in 3 to 4 feet of water for her body to wash at the footbridge, underneath the footbridge, all the way down this stream, you know, and get by all this debris and all these sharp rocks. And bear in mind, she had absolutely no lacerations, cuts, scrapes on her body at all. Nothing was cut. The skin was not broken. And now I wanted to go back down here because I had talked to a local newspaper photographer, and he was actually across the river at the park, and he was shooting with a giant lens back up here. And to get a relationship, there's her cross, and here is a tree that I forgot to kind of zero in on the last time I was here, because it's important, and I didn't make a perfect video before, but okay, here's a 3-trunked tree. It's got 3 trunks. And when I met with the Waterloo Courier reporter that was over there shooting with a long lens over here, he told me that her body was directly off this tree. So it would have been essentially right about here. Now, I'll admit that I did make a mistake when I was calling out the rock over here the other day, because I had it off, because I realized when I looked back at the Courier photographs that he had went over with me in detail at his desk, that this tree here was a very key point in actually pinpointing where her body was. So who wants to believe that her body went all the way down that inlet and then rounded this corner, rounded this bend, and then somehow ended up, you know, approximately here? Now, granted, where I'm standing, there was water here, and it was deep. So her body might have been closer back, you know, in here. But the water was higher. How high would you think it would have been right here, Rusty?
Probably about
5-6 feet deep?
Yep.
Okay, but, you know, like I said before, I'm glad that she didn't... You can kind of see the eddy type swirl here, kind of a stagnant type water scenario. So that's probably what kept her body here. But, you know, she had to have gone in right here for whatever the reason. Barefooted, The keys, I don't think were any, you know, they were a brief consolation in thinking it might have had something to do with the reason she got in the water. And I am very thankful and grateful to my friend that found them, because it just brings a little more closure knowing that I have the keys that were hers. But it still doesn't explain, you know, how her body got all the way down here from way back up there. Have anything to add? Pretty much. I mean, I just can't. Like I said, that white thing, somebody moved that because that was out front here. That was out front here somewhere else. Anybody can go to WCFcourier.com and just do a search for her first name, Shanda. Right there it is, S-H-A-N-D-A. And you will pull up the Waterloo Courier pictures that this reporter took from over there, and you will see this three-trunked tree, and just know that her body was straight off that. So, go ahead and tell me I'm crazy. I don't really care, but I've got to come to some kind of a conclusion as to why she got in the water, how she got in the water. But the car keys going in at the footbridge, I don't think have any relationship at all to her ending up down here. We were lucky to find them. I'm grateful, like I said, to find them, but I don't think they had anything to do with it. So, anything else to add, Rusty, pretty much?
That pretty well wraps it up.
We got it. All right, thanks for viewing, as always, and it shall remain a mystery until I learn more. Thanks again.